Welcome back. I hope you're breathing in the fresh air wherever you are. Ben Getz is here, and I'm so glad you brought me a bowl of worms. Thanks, bro.
Anytime.
Man, that's just so special. Now, we're going to do a little Garden Watch 2013.
Cool.
Time to get an update, new season. Clearly, our garden is flourishing almost too much. We seem to be seeing the introduction of a few new little pests, so it's probably a good thing for you to come back and give us a bit of an education. But let's start with our little guest presenters here at the Worms. What have you brought me here?
Okay, well, we've got earthworm castings. There are some earthworms in here, but it's predominantly compost which is made by the earthworms. We've discussed that before. It's organic matter that gets processed by the earthworms. Normally we use earthworm tea which comes straight out of the earthworm farm. In this case, I'm showing a different way of doing it. It's actually even more effective. It's just that you take the earthworm castings,
That's even more organic.
you put it straight into some water. It can be a bucket, it can be a watering can. Literally stir it around. You can let it sit for up to half an hour, but nothing more than that. And then literally...
Shaken, but not stirred.
Exactly. Literally watering the garden. It's actually quite nice to get your hands involved if you don't mind. You don't have to do that.
Oh, you've got to get stuck
and you
in,
literally
man.
just, feed your whole garden with it. That's kind of the first line of defense against pests and just in general to make sure that your plants are healthy. It's just keeping them well fed.
Always go back to nature. You're dealing with millions of years of evolution and engineering here to get this absolute A-grade treatment.
Yep.
Beautiful. Now, give me an assessment of our garden, starting with the pests that seem to be settling in there.
Okay, so what's interesting, winter garden versus summer garden, there tend to be fewer pests in winter. A lot of our clients ask, can we plant a garden in the winter? Actually, some of our best gardens are winter gardens, but you do have some pests. In the case here, we noticed a little earlier that there's some slugs running around. So the predominant pests actually in winter are slugs and snails. There are a lot of ways to take care of them, but always the first line of defense is using your eyes and using your hands. So actually getting in there with the hands and having a walk around your garden every day and pull off any slugs, any snails you see. If you actually do that regularly, you'll never have any kind of explosion in the populations of the slugs and snails, and your garden will be fine.
Because ideally, you don't want to be treating your garden with too much. Obviously, we want to improve the health, but we don't want to be introducing insecticides and pesticides.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There are, of course, organic options. This is an organic fertilizer. So is this comfrey. Comfrey is a great plant to have in the garden. In fact, every garden should have it as long as it's big enough. Just take some comfrey leaves, tear them up, rip them up, put them in a bucket of water, let it rot for decompose.
Let it distill.
Yeah, exactly. For a week in summer, 2 weeks in winter, and then you can literally apply that all over the garden. So there's your fertilizers, pesticides. There's a whole lot of organic, homemade versions that one can make. We have covered some of them in the show, and we'll do some more in the future as well. But yeah, absolutely no chemicals go into this garden or any of,
you can see how well it's doing. One last very quick tip, going into a new season, weather change, everywhere the country is experiencing unpredictable weather. Any tips going into the new season for planting?
What's important is to go into your local nursery and get a list for, Cape Town, it's winter rainfall, Joburg, it's summer rainfall. There's totally different kinds of crops which will grow depending on the rainfall and the temperatures. So it's important there's no like blanket
you got to get yourself your local bin. Find yourself a bin that you can store in your own garden shed. Ben, thank you so much, man. And again, well done. The garden is looking absolutely beautiful. On that inspirational green note, we're going to take a very quick break. We'll continue on the other side.